In case somebody just joined us last Tuesday morning, Austin Idol made the challenge, not a Texas Tornado death match with Jerry Lawler, who took the Southern Heavyweight title away in 39 seconds, but a cage match with Idol's hair against the King's hair. And Idol further said, if I don't beat Jerry Lawler and shave his head, I will return your money for the matches. Talking to everybody who came down to see the matches. And he did, in fact, give the money to Eddie Marlin. Now, Jerry, a couple of situations, boy, that is super confident. There's no question about that. And you have said no more hair matches for the King.
Well, I set it up until I heard those stipulations. It's true. Everything you've seen up to now, Austin Idol making his claims of confidence. At first, when Eddie Marlin called me and said and told me what Idol had proposed, I thought, there's no way nobody's gonna risk $50,000. I mean, everybody $50,000 to me or any. I mean, that's an awful lot of money.
Yep.
But I'll give you a little history on Austin Idol. In 1975, Austin Idol was wrestling in Florida. He was wrestling in Miami. They flew out of Tampa, Florida on a chartered plane. It was Austin Idol, Buddy Colt, Bobby Shane, and Gary Hart. And upon returning, they wrestled in Miami, and upon returning, believe it or not, they were involved in a plane crash. The plane crashed in the ocean. Bobby Shane was killed. Gary Hart suffered a broken back. Buddy Colt, a broken neck and a broken back. And Austin Idol had both legs broken and severely injured both of his feet. Made him think for a long time that he would ever be able to wrestle again. Anyway, Austin Idol, as a result of this, got a lot of money. As I said, a charter plane from the insurance.
Litigation following that tragic air crash.
I understand that he came out with almost $500,000. And so when, and not to mention the fact that a couple of years later he was able to return to the ring, and without a doubt, Austin Idol was one of the most successful wrestlers around. So Austin Idol has the money. The $50,000 probably is not as much to Austin Idol as it is to you or I or to anybody else. And Austin Idol's ego is so enormous that I think that he is willing to risk the $50,000. But I'm sure in Austin Idol's mind, he doesn't think he's risking the $50,000. He thinks that he's going to be able to beat me right in the middle of the ring and shave my head, which is something that you know and all of the fans out there know. But I've said that I'll never be involved in another hair match. The pressure on you is tremendous. Nobody wants to go around with, first of all, you don't want to suffer the humiliation and that kind of the embarrassment of having your head shaved. But what's more important is the fact that each and every morning when you get up and look in that mirror and see yourself in the mirror, you got to remember, you got to realize that because of the fact that you were second best is the reason you got your head shaved. And I said before, I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on myself anymore. I've been through a number of hair matches. Bill Dundee,
Bev Dundee, his wife,
the Fargos, Jean-Louis, Joe LeDuc, a lot of hair matches. Always fortunate enough to come out on top because I fully well realized that the last thing on earth that I ever wanted to do was go through that humiliation. And not only of that night, but as I said, for weeks and months to come, when you look in that mirror and realize that you were beaten by somebody, and that's why you're standing there with a shaved head. But when I was made this offer, it was too good to turn down. Because with Austin Idol, as with, I guess it's just human nature. When you see somebody who thinks they're so great, who just has their ego so big and has such great plans, as devious as they are, you always like to see, at least I do, you like to see these kind of things kind of blow up in their face. The same kind of the thinking as with Andy Kaufman. A few years back when Andy Kaufman came down here, he had all of these great plans to make a big joke out of professional wrestling, to make a big joke out of me, and come down here and the wrestling fans at our expense and get a lot of publicity for himself and make himself a bigger star. But what I was able to do, and what I was more than glad to do, and I think all the wrestling fans were happy about, was let all of this stuff just kind of blow up in his face. He got a lot of publicity, but it wasn't the kind that he thought he was going to get. He wound up spending 5 days in a hospital. And for Austin Idol, I want to do the same thing. I want this to all blow up in his face. I want him to have to eat his words. I want him to have to go down there Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum. Ever how many thousands of wrestling fans buy a ticket to come in there and see those matches? See him put up that cage, see me and Austin Idol get in there. And I want to see me beat Austin Idol, and him sit down and have his head shaved. And then every person that goes out, if they just hung onto their ticket stuff, they're going to get their money back. That's what I want to see happen. And then I want Austin Idol to realize how much that $50,000 meant. And that's what's going to happen, because I'll tell you this, Lance Russell, and I'll tell every wrestling fan out there, Austin Idol can't beat me, and he ain't going to beat me.
Jerry, you said a moment ago that you had been fortunate to come out the victor. I think that's modest in the respect that the way I look at it, Jerry Lawler, when you get in a match with that kind of pressure on you, you just respond to the pressure, because I've seen you come back in some of those air matches when I thought you were all through. Of course, Idol's tremendous ego, the women's pet, the men's regret. You know what he feels about his looks and how vain he is in that respect. You know he's going to be responding to some pressure too.
I can honestly sit here and tell you that I know for a fact if Austin Idol has his head shaved, he wouldn't show his face anywhere in public, on television, at an arena, at a match, anywhere for 6 months, I can assure you, at least as long as it takes for his hair to get back as long as it is now. You're right, it is the most vain individual that I've ever seen in my life. Not only are you thinking about what your own personal looks are, but what also will go through Austin Idol's mind is the same thing that goes through my mind. When he wakes up Tuesday morning, and he looks in that mirror, he's going to have to know, he's going to have to eat his words, that the king was the better man, and that Austin Idol is going to have to realize that every morning that he looks in that mirror and sees that his head shaved.
And he's going to be $50,000 poorer, too. Let's see what Austin Idol had to say when he found out that the king accepted that challenge.
Against my better judgment, and without even consulting me, my man Austin Idol earlier this week issued a challenge to Jerry Lawler for a hair versus hair match within the confines of a steel cage. Now this is a match that even I want nothing to do with. But Austin has insisted on it, so he knows that I'm behind him 100%. But Austin, as you well know, I don't even want to be responsible if something goes wrong, because this is the kind of match that even I am afraid of. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the universal heartthrob, Austin Idol. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. Well, Lawler, let's face it. You couldn't take the heat, could you? You couldn't stand the heat, could you, Lawler? You couldn't live with the thought that anybody who's ever seen Jerry Lawler, anybody who's ever heard of Jerry Lawler, or anybody who even knows somebody who knows of Jerry Lawler, you couldn't stand the thought of everybody in the wrestling world and in the civilization world. I'm talking about the people who work at the banks where Jerry Lawler goes. I'm talking about the people at the grocery stores where Jerry Lawler goes. I'm talking about the people anywhere Jerry Lawler goes when he walks into a movie theater, of them thinking that Jerry Lawler is a coward. Well, Lawler, you let that massive ego of yours that's plagued you for so many years lead you into the valley of doom, where your ego once was, stupidity took over. Oh yeah, Lawler, you're not looking at a dummy here. I know how many hair matches you've been in, and I can drop a few names on you just to let you know that I've done my homework. Fargo shaved his head. Tommy Rich, you shaved his head. Bill Dundee, you shaved his head. As a matter of fact, Deb Dundee, you shaved her head. You have never lost a match when your hair was at stake. But I can promise you, Lawler, and I can promise every man, every woman, every child, every dog, every cat, every goldfish, every parakeet. I don't care if you're a man, you're a woman. I can promise you one thing, that on Monday night, in a 12-feet high steel cage, where no one gets in and no one gets out, that I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to sit you down in the middle of that arena, right there, and I'm going to shave your head, Lawler. And I'm so confident that I'm going to do it. I've already put up over $50,000 in cash money to be refunded to every wrestling fan that comes through that turnstile. I can promise you one thing, Lawler. This will be a night that you'll never, ever forget. I'm going to shave your head.
What an event. It's signed, hair versus hair, no stopping the match for anything. And if you beat him, everybody gets their money back.
That's good, Lance. I don't want, this is, it seems like it's becoming a talk show. We're going to get some wrestling out here in just a minute. I just want to say to Austin Idol, one other thing that you failed to mention, he is so confident, or at least he sounds so confident, that one of the stipulations in his contract was that they not be able to film the head shaving, so it won't be on TV. And I think the reason that you can't film the head shaving is for the simple fact that Austin Idol is scared, Lance. He's afraid that it's going to be his head that gets shaved, and he don't want anybody to see that. But I'm going to assure you this. Everybody that's down there Monday night is going to get to see that. And Austin Idol, like I said, I love to make the best laid plans of mice and men blow up right in the face. And that's what's going to happen to you down at the Coliseum Monday night.
Okay, good luck to you, Jerry. We'll be seeing that Monday night. That's not the only match on the card. Right now, let's take a look at what else is happening at the Coliseum.
Championship Wrestling presents the biggest wrestling card of the year Monday night in Memphis at the Mid-South Coliseum. Mr. Shima and Mr. Hilo with Tojo Yamamoto take on John Paul and J.T. Southern. A mixed man and ladies tag match. The Hunter and BAMBI go up against Alan West and Emily Arthur. A grudge tag team event. Stretcher Jack Hart and the Golden Boy Chick Donovan battle Soul Man Rocky Johnson and Soul Train Jones. An international tag team match featuring the fabulous one Steve Kern teaming with Mark Starr against the Mercenaries. A special event, no time limit, no disqualification, no stopping the match for any reason. Paul Diamond takes on Billy Travis. A steel cage match, the battle to settle the war. Jeff Jarrett takes on Pat Tanaka. And the big main event, the match of the century. No time limit, no disqualification, no stopping the match. The hair of both wrestlers at stake. Big Universal Heartthrob, Austin Idol takes on Jerry the King Lawler. This special stipulation, if Idol fails to shave the hair of Lawler, then Idol will refund everyone's admission to Monday night's matches. Don't miss the biggest night of championship wrestling this year. Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum.